Switching gears now, we're going to go into the cosmos section. To get us started, this is Simius 147, or the Spaghetti Nebula, also called Sharpless 2240, which is a large supernova remnant in the constellation of Taurus and Auguria. It's a result of supernova explosion about 40,000 years ago. The nebulous covers about 3 degrees and is approximately 3,000 light years away, which means that the real size is about 140 light years. I just had to include it for its uncanny resemblance to the human brain. A black hole is a region of space from which nothing, not even light, can escape. It is the result of the deformation of space-time caused by a very compact mass. Around a black hole, there is an undetectable surface which marks the point of no return. This surface is called an event horizon. It is called black because it absorbs all the light that hits it. Physicists hope that this surprising finding is a clue to the ultimate theory of reality. After all, ask anybody what the physical world is made of, and you're likely to be told matter and energy. I got a little video clip. The Soviet Union has had many UFO encounters. They have had their own alien autopsy video and a crash disc recovery that was filmed by the KGB and later leaked. The Soviets had a gray captive seen in the video, which we would have seen. They called Skinny Bob, and the first live gray captive of the Americans was named EB. When the Soviet Union collapsed in the early 1990s, many top secret KGB documents and footage was sold to the highest bidder. As we watch this collection of leaked KGB videos, I'd like to return to the idea of collecting multiple data points and see how they confirm the same conclusion. Let's consider the infamous New Mexico Roswell crash of 1947 as an example in which this body came from. What conclusion can we arrive after considering the following quotes from the military and government people who were in the know? Lieutenant Colonel Philip Corso of the U.S. Army, quote, "I came into possession of the Roswell file. This file contained field reports, medical autopsy reports, and technological debris from the crash of an extraterrestrial vehicle." Captain Edgar Mitchell, U.S. Air Force, NASA astronaut who went to the moon. New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson said, "The mystery surrounding this crash has never been adequately explained, not by independent investigators and not by the U.S. government." Chase Brandon of the CIA said, "It was a craft that clearly did not come from this planet." Lieutenant Colonel Richard French, U.S. Air Force, said there were actually 2 crashes at Roswell. This was actually one of the 2 crashes where bodies were recovered. Certainly it's hard for the average American person to accept or even consider the idea that the U.S. government could have formed treaties with alien beings who have had anti-gravity craft and advanced weapon systems. Let's talk a little more about extraterrestrial biological entities, since aliens are about the most esoteric subject out there. Unlike many other ETs, the several different varieties of gray aliens are a dying breed that are continually seeking ways to extract DNA and body parts from humans and other animals, mostly cattle. Did you know that in times of extreme emergency, cow's blood can actually be used for human blood transfers? We're similar in our DNA that it can actually save people's lives, but only in extreme emergencies. The Greys, however, have lost their ability to love and breed naturally, and all are created now from a test tube. Their cloning history begins with the creation and their inability to sustain their race for much longer. But when this narrative reaches maximum weirdness is when the gray aliens are genetically spliced with human DNA to create a human hybrid mix. But why? The multiple data points of ETs interacting with Earth goes something like this. In the far reaches of the galaxy, there are reptilian aliens who needed a slave race and therefore created the gray aliens. At some point, and without notice, certain gray aliens revolted against their masters and are now finding ways to duplicate the cloning technique that the reptilian aliens have mastered. Some malevolent reptilians are still in charge of the Greys, and this is especially relevant to us because they are continuing their cloning practices living in their own underground bases right here on Earth. Because of our modern day pop culture about UFOs, aliens, and outer space, it is sometimes difficult to discern what is fact and what is fiction. But without a doubt, it is clear that something is taking place in our night skies. Because the accounts of those who have been abducted is what we have as a basis for our theories, the question is debated to this day as to why the gray aliens would abduct humans and clone their offsprings into hybrids. Simply stated, it is a necessity for the Greys to be responsible parties for the abduction and cattle mutilation phenomenon. In light of their dying race, it would seem that we're a perfect race that can fit the Greys' agenda. In terms of technology, we are comparatively primitive to them, and the Greys have the leverage to exchange technology for humans, and this is the primary reason there has never been disclosure by the US government, and by extension, governments around the world. It is reasonable explanation for the explosion of high technology which we've seen here on Earth in the last century. As we saw earlier, it is possible that Hitler was aided by gray aliens during World War II. Since then, witnesses and abductees have come forth to talk about their top secret alliance and the secrecy our government takes when UFOs or aliens are mentioned. To this day, it is estimated the number of abductions throughout the world is a little more than 4 million people. According to thousands of identical accounts from abductees, the gray alien and human hybrids are the result of gray genetic experiments which have been performed during abductions. The hybrid fetus is grown within the human female abductee for about 3 months and then removed and raised in a test tube by the Greys. It is believed that the first phase of growing and developing of the fetus has to take part during a normal pregnancy. The race of gray aliens have continued to abduct and perform experiments on human beings, and historic evidence from the Hopi Indians, Mayan accounts, and Egyptian hieroglyphics, such as this, have also shown that they have been doing this for thousands of years. Some people who have been abducted have said that they were experimented on near or around their reproductive organs. In one case, a woman claimed that her unborn baby was taken from her in the fetus stage to create a human gray alien hybrid. On a subsequent abduction, she was shown the child after the experimentation process was complete. Also referred to as Horlocks, several theories claim that the men in black are apparently humans, but they act strangely because they are controlled by reptilian influences. An extension of this theory suggests that MIB are the hybrid human gray mix being developed on Earth for at least decades now, and paranormal witnesses intimidation is one of their programmed tasks. The most bizarre of encounters reveal the MIB as non-emotional and non-expressive, with no visible response, almost as if they know nothing of our human culture. Logic, surprise, or human emotions do not seem to apply to these biosynthetic MIB forms. Most MIB do not seem to act or talk like government agents or policemen either, but their behavior seems more reptilian or synthetic than human. Most humanoid MIBs have probably been implanted by the Draco Reptilians and are essentially their telepathic slaves. I don't know if you guys caught this, but about a month ago, Dmitry Medvedev made a very telling comment about ETs being here on Earth, and even mentioned the Men in Black, not the movie, but some documentaries. What will become known in time is that dozens of different ET races, the number I've heard is 57, have visited Earth and may be in our solar system right now, observing us during this hugely transformational period. As we close out the ET discussion, it needs to be pointed out that most ET races who are observing us are benevolent or considered in service to others. The Greys, the Reptilians, and any hybrid race they create, such as the Men in Black, are in service to self and do not have the best interests of humans or the preservation of our planet in mind. The study of the esoteric in the cosmos section also includes a chapter called cryptozoology, which means literally the study of hidden or unknown animals, which is not a recognized scientific branch of zoology. This original and enhanced image is from a movie still taken by what former rodeo rider Roger Patterson said is the American version of the abominable snowman. We, of course, know it as the creature called Bigfoot. He claimed his video of this creature, estimated at 2.5 meters tall, were taken northeast of Eureka, California in October 1967. And this is a still from the original, and on the right is what Sony did and enhanced the exact same photos so you can get a little bit better look of the face, kind of gorilla-like. This enormous crop circle appeared on the 13th of August, 2001 on Milk Hill in Wiltshire, England. Over 450 meters in diameter with 400 circles in a complex mathematical pattern. This circle has been described by top circle researchers as, quote, the pinnacle, the very epitome of perfection, the paragon of all circles. There is an offering of 100,000 pounds, British pounds, to anyone who can recreate a replica of this crop circle called the Milk Hill Galaxy. And you can see some people in the very center and a few around. You can see how absolutely enormous it is, over twice the size of a football field. Among the basic conditions to claim the prize, which normally serve to distinguish a genuine crop circle from a hoax, the reproduction must include that inside the crop circle there must be no footprints, and inside the crop circle there must be no broken stems. And this is how you can distinguish the real ones from the hoaxed ones. As of yet, nobody has come forward to attempt the challenge and claim the 100,000 pound prize. Our last chapter is other planet structures, including these images in the presentation, which are not seen in the book. Here is an image from the Mars Spirit rover taken in the spring of 2001 that captured this anomalous mechanical object, which you can see highlighted below. Keep in mind, this is an official NASA image and can be viewed on their website. I just checked it out a few days ago. It's still there. And when it's enhanced, you can see it does not look like something Mother Nature creates. There are so many anomalous structures, strange lights, and out-of-the-ordinary features on the moon. We'll close out the cosmos section with this collection of images. There are partially destroyed objects on the lunar surface that cannot be placed among natural geological formations because Mother Nature never creates perfect 90-degree angles, straight lines, or perfect dome shapes. Out of the ordinary objects are of complex organization and geometrical structure. In the upper part of Rima Hadley, not far from the location where the Apollo 15 module had landed near Hadley Ryle, a construction surrounded with a tall D-shaped wall was discovered. Mysterious terrace-shaped excavations of the rock have been discovered near the Tycho crater. The concentric hexadedral excavations and the tunnel entry at the terrace side cannot be the result of natural geological processes. Instead, they look very much like open cast mines. And you'll see quite a few photos in the back of Other Planet Structure chapter, which show other very anomalous features on the moon, and quotes from the NASA astronauts, which also had some very interesting things to say that was picked up by ham radio listeners the day Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. And indeed, he did see quite a few structures on the moon, including on the dark side, some lights and very large craft.